Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about linked list. A linked list is a linear data structure that consists of a series of nodes connected by pointers. Each node contains data and a reference to the next node in the list. And first node of a linked list is known as head, and the end node of a linked list is known as tail. So here, as you can see that each node contains some data and a pointer next that point to the next node, and same for every node except the last node. In the last node of our linked list, the next point to the node which determine the end of a linked list. We can use the structured data structure to represent the node of a linked list. Our node structure contains a data and the pointer to the next node, that is next. We can define a node constructor to initialize the node structure. We can implement our linked list by defining a class linked list that contain a node pointer head which represent the first element of the linked list, and here we can define a default constructor which initialize our head as null. Here we defined a insert at head function which is used to insert the element at the head of a linked list. So here we defined a temp pointer and initialize with a new node that whose data is x and whose next point to null. So here we need to pass the reference of the next node of the linked list in the temp next. So we basically make temp next equal to head, and then our head become temp. Mm. For inserting the element at the end of our linked list, we define a function insert at end. In this function, first we check if head is equal to null, then we assign our new node value to head, and if head is not null, then we define a temp pointer and initialize it with head. Now we iterate over the temp until temp next is not equal to null, and then if we assign the new node pointer to the temp next. That way we can insert the element at the end of a link. For deleting the head node of a linked list, we define a function delete at head. In this, first we check if head is not equal to null, then we define a temporary node pointer and initialize it with head, and then update the head by head next, and after this step we delete the temporary pointer which store the head of the linked list. By this way we can delete the head node of our linked list. For deleting the tail node from their linked list, we define a function delete at tail. In this function, first we check if head is not equal to null, and then we define a node pointer temp, initialize it with head, and another node pointer previous, initialize it with null. Previous pointer will keep track of the previous visited node, and temp pointer will keep track of the current node, and we will iterate over the temp pointer until the temp next is not equal to null, and then in each iteration we update our previous is equal to temp, and we update temp equal to temp next, and then at the end of the iteration, when temp next become null, we will create a node pointer to delete which store the temp. Here the temp represent our last node. So, and then we check if previous is null, then we update our head equal to null, as if you can see that if previous is null, it means our in the linked list contain only one node. So after deleting the tail node, our linked list become empty, then a head should be null, and then we if our previous is not null, we update the previous next equal to null, and then we delete our tail node by using this command delete to delete. This to delete store our tail pointer. So by this way we can delete the tail node of a linked list. How to delete a node from a linked list? Here by node we didn't mean if this node is a head or a tail. The node can be anywhere in the linked list. So we assume that if the node value is x, we need to delete that node. So we define for this we define a function delete a node. So first we in create a node pointer temp, initialize it with head, and node pointer previous, initialize it with null. Previous will keep track of a previous visited node, and temp keep track of the current node, and we will iterate until our temp is not equal to null, and then for this we create a node pointer to delete, initialize it with null. If our temp data is equal to x, then we need to delete this function, so we store this temp inside the to delete, and if the previous is not equal to null, then we update our previous next equal to temp next, and otherwise we will update our head equal to temp next, and otherwise if the temp data is not equal to x, then we update our previous equal to temp, and then in the for the next station we update our temp equal to next, and after this if our to delete is not null, then we need to delete that node, so we use this command delete to delete. This to delete in case when our temp data is x become not null and store the pointer which should be deleted at this step. So we use this statement to delete our the any node which contain the data as x. So by this way we can delete any node of our linked list whose data is X. Don't forget to practice this concept. Code, compete, and win. Thank you.